John. Give you an update here on the 2024 turkey season. Day one, very uneventful. Went out, set in the blind. Turkeys didn't make a sound, didn't hear anything. No gobbles, nothing. Set my decoys out in the field, didn't see anything. Pretty quiet, nothing happened. Sat there about 5 hours. Finally gave up. Called it a day. Went home. Finished out that day. Okay. That night, got a trail cam picture of a couple hens and a jake back there where my blind was at, heading up to roost right before sundown. So I figured, well, hey, there's something back there at least, possibility of getting something. So second day of the season, I get up early, go to head out there. A buddy of mine drops me off because I can't drive because of my shoulder surgery and stuff. So he drops me off early, way before daylight. I start walking back and start to go down through this little ravine there to go across the creek to head back that way. Place where there haven't been any turkeys all year. Blow a turkey off the roost in the dark. Flies over up the other side of the ravine, lands up in the tree. And well, okay. It's another moonlit. It's pretty light, even though it's way before sunrise, because it's just past the full moon, not a cloud out. So I watch it land in the tree. So I keep on walking. Get about halfway down through this little ravine. Another turkey takes off out of the tree, off the roost. Flies on up, out the other side of the ravine, takes off. So I just kind of shake my head. It's like, are you kidding me? This is a heck of a way to start the morning out. So I finally just go on down, walk on back up the lane, go get in the blind, and get in there quiet, set my decoys out in the field, get in the blind quiet, sit down. Sunrise comes up. Turkeys back here that I blew off the lane, one of them starts gobbling, or off that ravine back here, it starts gobbling. I thought, well, okay, at least turkeys are gobbling this morning, at least one of them is anyway. So I sat there a little bit. So next thing I know, I hear a few other turkeys gobbling way off, and that's why I hate sitting in a blind, because you really can't tell direction all that well. And so I'm listening, I'm thinking, man, come on now. I'm thinking, well, where's this jake at? He had to be close to here, to the blind somewhere. So I tree yelp a little bit, nothing. Well, I thought I heard a turkey fly down right at sunrise. Nothing landed out in the field though. So, well, okay. So I sat there a little bit longer. Yelped real soft again, nothing. A few minutes later, I hear this yelping right behind the blind. Okay, there's a turkey right behind the blind somewhere close. Hen flies out of a tree right over the top of the blind, lands out in the field. Next thing I know, another turkey starts yelping right up behind the blind. Flies out over the blind, right over the top of it, out of the tree, lands out in the field. Well, okay, there's the two hens. Where's the jake at? So I'm waiting and waiting, nothing. This whole time I'm still hearing these distant gobbles way out, way off. Can't really tell any direction, nowhere. And this hens, they they landed way out away from my decoys out in the field. They just start milling around and they start wandering off. So I call at them. They start looking back at my decoys and stuff. So I started calling aggressive at them and finally made them mad. Well, they come back. They come back mad. I thought they was going to attack my hen decoy. Well, I got a little bit of footage of them, and we playing that on this video for you to see. They come back, went up around my hen. They was eyeballing her, sizing her up and stuff. They never did attack her, but thought they was going to. So, well, okay, if there's a Tom around or that Jake around, that's going to draw them out of the woods. Nothing ever happened. And it got kind of quiet for a little while. Well, then I heard this owl coming through the woods, and he was a hooting and stuff and just carrying on, flying through the woods. The next thing I know, that Tom that was gobbling behind me that I'd bumped off the roost this morning there, he started gobbling again at that owl. Well, then all these distant gobbles started again. And well, then hens, they just kind of hung around down there in that end of the field. And I thought, well, okay. So I just called every now and then. For the longest time, nothing was happening, just distant gobbles. So I finally, I was like, well, okay. Just kept listening and listening. I thought, well, finally I was like, well, I'm just going to start doing some loud, hen cutting, aggressive, just get aggressive, see what happens. I ain't got nothing to lose. I got 2 live hens out here. Got a hen decoy, Jake decoy, maybe something will show up. So I got aggressive with my calling. Next thing I know, there's a big Tom about 400 yards out in this field. He shows up, blows up into strut. He starts working my way. Well, 2 hens seen him. They start heading right towards him. It was a heck of a morning. Thinking, well, okay, they're going to get to him. He's not going to get close to me. And they're just going to take him on off somewhere else. So they start working towards him, and he gets to probably 300 yards, and they're just about to him. They're probably 50, 60 yards away from him. Next thing I know, some deer go walking across the field. He's kind of stopped waiting on the hens to get to him. He's just strutting back and forth in a circle the whole time. These deer cut right between him and the hens. And the hens turn around, they start coming back towards me. Well then, once the deer get past, he just starts following the hens. They come all the way down. They're about 80 yards from me. He never broke strut the whole time. Strutted all the way down. Big tom, one of the biggest toms I ever seen. And he keeps looking over at my decoys. He keeps looking at them live hens. Finally the live hens, they start working a little bit closer and closer. He starts coming closer towards me. He gets down to 42 yards, and I'm shooting archery equipment because I've got had shoulder surgery and I can't shoot a gun. Thinking, well, okay, he gets to 30. I can shoot him with this crossbow at 30. I'd already ranged out in the field. I knew exactly where 30 was. He's at 42 yards, and I'm watching him. And next thing I know, this deer comes out of the woods, starts looking at my decoys, looking at him. The hens turn around. They start going back the opposite way. He stops. He's looking at my decoys. Deer's looking at my decoys. It's looking at him. Deer walks out right between him and my decoys. He stops, starts working back the opposite way. What do? I'm thinking, well, okay. They helped me out the first time. Second time here, they just hosed me. There's nothing I can do about it. So I started calling to him a little bit. He went out to about 70 yards. He turned around, he come back to 50. He wouldn't get any closer than that. And he was out there and he never broke strut the whole time. I mean, he was there for over an hour, never broke strut. Finally, the hens got tired of it. They started walking away. He started following them, and they got down to the right of me, and they just wasn't coming. He wasn't going to break away from them. So I thought, well, I ain't got nothing to lose. I started calling real aggressive to him, cutting at the hens, trying to make them mad again to come back. Had him all fired up. He was gobbling like crazy. And one hen, she actually started going down the lane where I actually walked in that morning. The other hen started going another direction. He went and corralled her, got her to go down the lane where I walked in at. He was gobbling the whole time. I got a little bit of video of that, of him gobbling back at me. During this whole process, he started gobbling so much back at me because I just got relentless with him. I started hearing two gobbles. Well, I thought maybe it was the tom that I'd busted off the roost that morning, heard him gobbling, started coming down that way. So, I finally just gave up calling to him, set my call down. I thought, well, okay. I got out of the blind, went out in the field, and I thought, well, when I heard the second gobbler, I thought, well, if I can get out in the field, I'll change the setup on my decoys. I actually set my Jake decoy over the hen like he was getting ready to breed her. I thought, well, this tom is not going to put up for that if he does happen to come back. Or if this other one shows up, they're not going to stand for it. So I hop out of the blind, go out in the field, change the setup on my decoys, get back in the blind, hit my call again, hear another double gobble back in the woods behind me. Sit there for a few minutes, hit my call again, another double gobble, closer, they're coming. Thinking, all right, good. Put my call down. You'll see the rest of this and you'll see the kill shot on camera. Actually ended up being 3 longbeards come out of the woods. It wasn't the tom with the 2 hens. I don't know where these 3 longbeards came from. They come up out of the woods, went right up. One of them broke into strut. And I shot the one, went across the field into the woods. Had to get out, go track it down. Left a heck of a blood trail. That Rage Broadhead did a number on it, I will say that, man. So, that was my first ever archery kill. And that was my second and last day of the 2024 turkey season. So my hunting's over with. Got at least one guy I'm going to go call for. He got drawn for the reservoir up here last weekend. I got drawn for last weekend too. So it's a good buddy of mine. I'm going to go call for him. He's been already scouting a little bit, and there's some birds up there. So we're going to go up there last weekend. Hopefully we can get him on a bird and get that on video for you too. So that's my 2024 turkey season so far. So we'll try to get this together and get it posted on the channel for you. Hope you guys are all doing good. Hope you guys are all killing turkeys. I've heard a lot of people saying they're gobbling good this year. So I'll be back down southern Indiana next year. August turkey camp will be back. So hope you guys are having a great turkey season.